Cute girl who was out marking the discuses. Coach Wrinkle comes up to me and says, "Hey, Merza, I bet you won't go ask her for her number." I said, "What if I don't?" "Well, you're running 3 miles on Monday." I said, "Okay, I'll do it." So got her number, and it all worked out. We Snapchatted, so.
Woo!
All right. So, hello, fellow Rochester Adams track and field athletes. I'm proud to be able to stand in front of you today to be a part of this program. I initially had no plans of throwing in high school. My freshman year, I went out for the baseball team. I do love baseball, but it wasn't the sport for me, I guess. It wasn't what the coaches were looking for. This was a very sad day for me. I walked out of the locker room with my head low and feeling disappointed in myself. I started out the aux gym doors and saw a group of kids, some big, some small, doing push-ups on the pavement. I thought, well, that looks terrible. Next thing I see, this man who looks like a war vet from Vietnam comes up to me and says, "Hey, now why do you look like someone in Detroit just stole your car?" I said, that meaning, "Why do you look so sad?" I said, "Well, I got cut from the baseball team." He told me his name was Steve Shaltz, and he was an A-push teacher here at Adams, and also the throwing coach for the track team and also a wrestling coach. He asked me what my plans were going to be now that I didn't make the baseball team during the spring. I told him probably nothing. He told me that they needed more youth like me on the team, and he invited me out to be on the throwing team. I put my baseball bag down and got into the push-up position. My journey as a thrower began there. My freshman year, Coach Shaltz taught me a lot of things. Coach and I would spend time together after practice working on my form. Coach taught me that throwing is 50% mind and 50% technique. He told me that he had seen monsters who could bench 350 like Holder and he drove 30 feet in shot put. It was all about the form, and Coach was the Mr. Miyagi of form. Coach would all have us go on a line and practice our form while he had a wooden pole in his hand. When I would mess up, Coach would take the pole and nudge my ankles with it. By the end of practice, I had a lot of bruises. He would say, "More explosion, Merza, young grasshopper." Shaltz was the kind of guy who knew everything about anything. Everywhere we went, every meet we had, coaches would come up to me and tell me how great of a coach I had. My sophomore year was better than my freshman year throwing-wise. I started developing relationships with other athletes and becoming more outgoing. My freshman year, I ended taking 8th at counties, and I wanted to become better. At that time, Rochester Adams hired this new biology teacher, and I had him in class. I walked into this class and saw this guy with a shiny head and muscles that looked like they were about to pop out of his shirt. His name was Joshua Wrinkle. Mr. Wrinkle is a great man, if you haven't met him. He has a great outlook on life. He told me he was a thrower in Warren, and I gave him some advice. I said, "Jay Rinks, man, you gotta come out and be a coach for the track team. You'd be perfect for it." Shortly after that day, he told me he got the job as an assistant coach with Steve Shaltz. Coach Wrinkle, when it comes to conditioning and lifting, Coach Wrinkle's a madman. There have been days where I've thrown up after practice because how hard he worked me. He's developed me into a stronger man, not just my muscles, but my personality. Everything at Adams was going great. We just finished our sophomore year, and Mr. Cummings came on the PA. I remember the words like it was yesterday. He said, "Teachers, please pardon this interruption to class. Late last night, our beloved teacher Steve Shaltz passed away. Anyone who knew Coach Shaltz was upset with this, and anyone could come down to the media center. I immediately went down to the media center, and tears came to my eyes. I couldn't believe what was happening. I couldn't believe he was gone. Mr. Shaltz is one of the greatest men I have ever met. The things he taught me will always stay with me. Coach had a theory that I still follow today with whatever I do. That the more effort you put into something, the greater the outcome will be. I try not to be sad because I know Coach wouldn't want me to be sad, but it was hard. Not a day that goes by I don't think about Coach. Everything he's done for me, He's a great man, and I miss him every day. Coach Lohr, I would like to thank you for every opportunity you've given me here at Adams. My senior year, I was missing some practice, and I wasn't in the right place, and Coach Lohr and I had a talk, 15-minute talk, into 6th hour, and really made me have a better outlook on what was happening. Mr. Wrinkle, thank you for always being there for me and having my back. I truly look up to you. You were there for us when Coach Shaltz passed away. I remember crying in your shoulder saying, what's going to happen next? You said, don't worry, Merza, we're going to be okay. And we're okay, so I love you. And lastly, to all my fellow throwers, thank you for always making me happy when I come to practice sad. My senior season was amazing. From dedicating my best throw I've ever thrown to Coach Shaltz and taking 2nd against Rochester, to taking 3rd with Steve-O and Lance at Algonac. Everyone's made my senior year memorable. I wish you all the best in your further endeavors. Lance, when I come back next year, I want to see you with the state championship, and I know you can do it. Same with you, Steve. And all the freshmen, work as hard as you can, and do it for Shaltz. He would want to see this program succeed. Mr. Lohr, you run a great program here, and like Shaltz would always say, solid.